Hello, my little weirdos. I want to talk about since the election, we saw it beforehand at certain times, and we're seeing it now a lot. They're either in words or quick like video, but there's a lot of ones that are words going around saying to the effect of don't let politics affect your friendships. It's just politics. Um, or can we agree to disagree and still be friends? Yeah, on some things, like, do you like dark ales or pale ales? Do you prefer raspberries, blueberries, or strawberries? Yeah, we can agree to disagree on that stuff. Sure. Everybody's has their own particularities. Yeah, that's fine. Um, I believe that women aren't full people and you don't. So, it's just a viewpoint. No. No. Those kind of things are important. Those kind of things are what shows you what that person inside, that base person inside, is like, that core person, those kind of things. Um, I think everybody should be the religion I am because I believe my religion is correct. And so everybody needs to listen to it. Everybody needs to hear what it has to say and believe it, because the only way you're ever going to get forever life is is to beholden to this guy, this God. So, but you don't believe that. So, but we can still be friends. We just won't talk about it. No. No. Because that means your core beliefs are not in line with my core beliefs. But core beliefs are a lot different than preferences. Just like a lot of people don't comprehend the difference between baby, fetus, clump of cells. It's something that it's who you are. It's not it's not what you like berries, or do you prefer ice milk or ice cream? Um, it's not the same thing as, do you believe that every woman has a choice of what to do with her body, or you believe that men should be able to tell women what to do with their bodies? That's a core belief that, no, we can agree to disagree. If you're, this whole time we're friends, knowing that you would turn on me because you don't even believe the basic rights of human beings, no, we can't be friends. If I know that's how you feel, that's how you voted, that you don't want anybody who's not white around. No, no, that's not just we're disagreeing on things. There's different categories of things, and those things are not something that I can agree to disagree and just pretend I don't know about you. No, I'm sorry, I can't. Um, I might still like those other parts of you and remember fondly those other parts of you that created the friendship to begin with in us, between us, but I can't be friends. I can't hang out with you. I can't tell you what I really feel because you obviously don't agree. So why would I want to take somebody and bring them closer to me when they believe things that should be done that hurt me or people I care about? Why would I want that person as a friend? Why would I want that stuff in my feed? Now, I might be a friend and unfollow you. I might, if we're friends and I find out, I might just unfollow you, but keep you as a friend so you can see what I post. But I will remove if you make any of those posts. Being an ass. There's enough asses that we don't know around us. There's enough people around us that want themselves to do better than you. I want everybody to do well. It's not like, yeah, I want to do better though than you because you're not as worthy. Who the F are you to say who's worthy? If you're being judgmental, then you're not worthy either. But choosing not to have negativity in your face and being negative are two different things. I'm not being unkind. I'm just making sure the space that I can't, necessarily control. I can't control what you post, but I can control if your posts I get to see, unless I look for them. If you're that kind of, I'll look for your posts because I don't want them shoved into my feed. And when you follow somebody, friend them, it follows them. But if you unfollow, you'll still be friends with them. They won't know, but their stuff won't be shoved in your feed. It won't appear in your feed. You'll still be able to go and see what they post if you go to their profile. But you can't, they won't see anything you post if you unfriend them. So a lot of times I'll start with just unfollowing. And if I wind up getting stuff from them, I'll just unfriend them too. Because I'll voice the fact that I really don't need to see that, okay? You don't need to send me that. Or tag me in it or something. And when I've had one or two that have done that shit, started doing the tag shit. So I just had to block them. Because I don't need that constant agitation of somebody I had known for so long. There's two people that I worked in corrections like 20 years or more ago. A decade worth of knowing these people, these guys. And I'm sure they voted for Trump this time because last time I had to, 8 years ago, finally at the end of his run, I finally, of his campaign, I had to, and I didn't want to because there was a lot of good, funny memories and just a lot of things that actually I could probably blow up both their marriages if I wanted to. I could have done that for the last 20 years. But I could destroy actually 3 marriages because they wanted to be pricks and vote for the rapist in 16, and I'm sure they tried in 20, and I'm sure they did this time. I haven't even looked up their profiles, and because I'm not a vengeful person like somebody who just got elected. But things their spouses actually really should know about. And 2 of those 3, The guy is married to this other guy's sister. And I got something on his marriage, too, about him. And what he does when his wife doesn't know. Same thing, this other guy that's married to his wife is doing to this guy's sister. Bill is, not doing things, or he's doing things that, or had been doing things that I'm sure his wife would have liked to know, and I'm sure he did not want his wife to know. And this guy's sister is married to a guy that was doing shit with me when I wasn't married. And I've come to find out he's married and to my friend's sister. And both guys are doing things behind their wives. But I bet you he'd be mad at the other guy if he found out his sister was being cheated on. Yeah. Well, he's cheating on his wife. But he'd be mad if his sister was cheated on. Yeah. The other one is a Mormon. And the things he's not allowed to do with women, he did. And the things he talked about with not only other people other than his wife, but about his wife and to a female, me, I'm sure the Mormon church would be very interested to know all the sexual things he was wanting and asking about. Yeah. So, we can agree to be friends. We can agree to disagree. No. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. Abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm sorry, but I can't have that. I'm at a point in my life that I don't need that shit, okay? I actually don't have any, like, close friends that aren't, like, I'm related to or something, because what most people call friends, I call acquaintances. My neighbors and stuff, a lot of people say, oh, I'm friends with my neighbors. I'm friendly with my neighbors, but I don't know a lot of their life. They don't divulge a lot. So I don't, get super personal because I'm not sure if it's a culture thing or not. Because I live with a lot of Indian families around here. So I'm not sure if that's a culture thing or not. So I don't want to be insensitive, and like push and intrude if there's signals I'm not catching because I'm not of their culture. There's also Mexican, a lot of several that I'm aware of, which I am used to being around, and they don't like that kind of shit, big time. They do not. And the one guy that I didn't know was messing with me. Is Mexican. So is the woman he's married to. She's part Mexican. My friend that I worked with in corrections, yeah, he's part Mexican. So this whole thing of both of them, she would like blow the fuck up. And they're both friends with that other third guy. Yeah. So agree to disagree about some things? Fuck no. And yes, I have toyed with and it would just be to be a bitch, really, just to blow it up with all three of them. Just send a little message if they haven't blocked me. Just let them know, oh, by the way, all these years, I got something to tell you. To all three of them. They're all in Arizona, too. I'd throw the fucking shit into chaos over there. And I don't have any qualms about it because, in essence, they were doing things that were what their own religions and their own values say they're against. That's the kind of people that I just unfriended. Because when I saw that they did all that, I understand shit happens sometimes. I get that. I understand people aren't perfect. But when you've done stuff like that and you keep voting for a guy like Trump, no. I can't agree to disagree with something like that. And to some people, I might seem judgmental. For me, I'm just assessing, is it worth it to see that kind of post or have them argue with me? There was times that it would be like 20 comments long because, they would be arguing with something I said or something. And I'll be like, stop, you know? And they would just go on and into the Trump world shit. And I don't need that on my posts. I do not need that on my feed. And neither should you. If it's something that it's getting to the point of like, I hope so-and-so doesn't, you're typing a post and you go, God, I hope so-and-so doesn't respond to this. At that point, it's time to dump them. When you're dreading if somebody's going to respond as badly or so, maybe that person isn't really in your space of where your head is at. Now I would not have even continued friendship with them after the first few times, expressing, I think he's scum, and I really don't want to hear you, popping him up on my stuff, because I'll just delete your post, your comment. And they would keep doing it. So instead of deleting and checking every fucking post I make to see if they've responded and deleting it, I just deleted them. I had to. And I felt on the fence about it at the time, years ago, because after Biden got in, I kind of like refriended them. And it was almost immediately. Dissing Biden, like all the fucking time. And how a Mormon, sits there and votes for a rapist, adulterer. They don't approve of that, do they? He wasn't like one of the multiple wives kind of guy. Although I think he wanted to be. So again, there are a plethora of things that we absolutely could agree to disagree on. Even to a milder degree, things like pet ownership or child raising, some of those things are things that, one way or another, either way it works, type of thing. But there are some things that are just no. Can't be friends with somebody that I know spanks and hits their children. I can't. Because if I find that out, it tells you what kind of person you are. And at 61, I don't need anybody like that anymore. I've managed relatively fine without a bestie. I've got my sister, and I have moments when you're lonely at times, but it's a whole lot better than having that constant input of negativity, or even worrying, in the back of your mind. Oh, I don't want to go. I hope they didn't respond to anything obnoxiously. Yeah, yeah. We absolutely cannot agree to disagree on some things, okay? Some things are just beyond settling for. Some things are just beyond ignoring or pretending you don't know. Finding out somebody was married before and had affair on their spouse, but you've known them married to this other person, and they've been married for like 13 years and everybody seems real cool. That's, maybe we could agree to disagree. I don't believe that's correct to do, but it's affecting you and the other person, and you both know what was done. Maybe I could overlook that, but I will say I will always be looking for anything you do or say or expression or whatever when something's said or someone's around or something, because you did cheat before. And that usually, just most of the time, it's not a one-time deal. But we could still be friends. That's the kind of thing it would be. I am not the judgment committee. That's not something that I personally think should be okay in a marriage, or even a long-term committed relationship. But it's not something that affects anybody but that small amount of people, and everybody it affects already knows about it, and they're still staying together. So, that's their business. So no, I'm not, assessing that. I can still be friends with you, but it would take a while to really, really, really trust you in something important, just because you weren't always trustworthy. But I can still be friends with you. That's I have no problem with that. That's a little few examples of what I can. Yeah, I can agree to disagree, of course. But some things, no. And what I want to get at is the ones that seem to be saying that a lot or suggesting that a lot, like public figures, in interviews and stuff. It's always, can we just agree to disagree and get together and unite and work together? You're asking people to just work with us when you just voted to get rid of most of the people in my complex. Most of them are either immigrants, legally here, visa, whatever, or they immigrated and their youngster and their children are second generation, but he still wants to do that with them too. How can I agree to and be friends with somebody who voted for somebody who's going to decimate just my complex? No, absolutely fucking no. And I really am curious on how you guys, are you being like, I'm just gonna go ahead and be positive, and it's not like I'm not aware, but because that's my inkling at first, but my gut is, or are you more like me with, no, I can't. The Zen only goes so far. And no, you shouldn't be judging who gets your, mercy and who but it's not like that. I have a knot in my gut, if I keep somebody that and I'm always wondering, are they going to say something about this? Are they going to, that is not somebody you want in your life, trust me. And some of them are going to be hard to, evict from your social media place. But, oh, by the way, go to Threads. They, a lot of people are leaving, and I'm talking like left wing, like people that they're on X because the same reason they were on Twitter, so they can keep abreast of current things and things that are being said as well, not just by public figures, what the public, what the general public, thinks. Some of them have left X, especially after Elon got involved, and then suddenly everything was dark and gloomy for the Republicans, and then gets really quiet. He doesn't even try it. I mean, he's literally not even trying. And his rallies are like half full, and they're all freaking out. And then they get really quiet. You notice a lot of them have not been making, even Marjorie gets real quiet. He gets very like he doesn't even fucking care anymore. And then suddenly he's saying, I don't even need your vote. You don't even bother voting for me. I don't need it. And everybody was so positive he would win. All of that seems very sus. And I don't want to be like, oh, the election was rigged, like them. But what I'm saying, I waited to say it for several days. I just wanted to see what other people were thinking. But other people are saying the same thing. Things don't feel right. As soon as Musk, who has Starlink and control of satellites and can upload from any place he wants to, probably. As soon as Musk gets in, suddenly everything looked different on the election. Everything started to shift really fast. Where are those, 10, 11, 13 billion Democrat and all those provisionals? I know our polling place, we did at least a dozen provisional ballots because they never got their mail-in ballot, or they didn't want to mail it back because they got it so late. That's the joy in the post office, also working for Trump. What happened to those? Because that would have made a difference. How can Pennsylvania, every down ballot position, Democrats won, they were women. And yet Kamala lost Pennsylvania. If they were voting the down ballot, you don't vote all Democrat and then not, and Democrat women, and then she supposedly lost that state so badly. Musk has had, and people have had, at least 4 years to learn how to hack it. Didn't Elon say once, well, voting machines are really easy to hack into? Did you hack into it, Elon? Is that how Donald won? And just so everybody knows, the other day on the Harris website, on the bottom where after the donation link and all that stuff, and it says all things, it said, you say all will be for the presidential campaign for election. That's what the funds were going to be used for. The wording's changed. Go look. It's the other day. She very quiet. Nobody said anything, but they changed it to the funds will be for court costs or something like to that effect. So I think, and quite a few other people, I mean, left wing, like people that have channels that tell you they're political news journalists, you know, like Brian Tyler Cohen and Jesse Dollemore and Farron Cousins and David Pakman, but he hasn't said this, but a few others. They're probably filing for the results of things, because I've said this from the start. It felt off. Waking up, I don't remember that happening in quite some time. Of it being where they knew like before freaking midnight, you know. That alone is sus. And I'm not being a poor sport. I'm not, you know, but it really, there's a lot of things that just actually do line up for the fires in the ballot boxes. Now, I'm not saying the ballots, some of them, I think in Oregon, they have fire retardant inside the box. So even if you set it, it goes, it won't let this stuff light. But so there were some that were done that don't have that, and they did lose the ballots. What did they ever do about that? Did they lose those votes? Now I'm sure all the ballot boxes that they did lose ballots out of, I'm sure all of those, even if they were all for Harris, that wouldn't have changed the election. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of little things. All those bomb threats. Dozens and dozens of them on election day to the polling places, that, number one, the polling places were in areas that were heavily Democratic. In other words, they knew they were going to be more Democrat. So if they disturb it, they won't be able to get back to voting when it's, you know, because some of them do it on lunch. That's the only time or something like that. The other thing, that it was all those bomb threats, was it Chinese or Russian? I can't remember what it was, but they were all from them, and all in conveniently in heavily Democrat areas to disrupt it, so less Democrats could get voting back to before they close. That's a whole hell of a lot. And I'm sure there were some other things too that we haven't heard. But the thing about Kamala Harris is she's an ex-cop. She's an ex-prosecutor. She knows how to shut her mouth and keep things tight to the chest and not even say anything to us, the supporters, because the others will hear about it and try to do their illegal finagling, lawyer-wise. So she knows to keep it, don't make a big fanfare like they did, screaming, it was rigged, you guys did something. She knows better. I was wondering myself, why are there's usually a flurry on either side because of things that they noticed. And it wasn't passing a ginger mint to your mother. Yeah, I know, Rappy. But, yeah. So they are preparing or have already filed shit. So don't give up. If you think about Harris, if they change that wording, There's a fucking reason why they changed that. And it's not just because she's not, can't people say, well, of course, she's not campaigning anymore to be president. So, you know, doesn't just mean that. Remember, she's an ex-attorney general. She's an ex-prosecutor. She fucking knows the law, and she knows what to look for. And she's not stupid. So, yeah. Democratic women, all up and down the ballot in Pennsylvania, were all elected. Democrats up and down. But the top spot isn't. That in itself seems not really possible with when you look at the statistics. So, and we all know Pennsylvania's a swing state, and we all know one or two swing states is all it takes to swing that vote. Where did they send Elon? They sent him to swing states, didn't they? And they also in, like, I think it was Michigan, or they showed part of the states, of those swing states, that were heavily like Jewish or Jewish leaning, videos saying, ads saying that Kamala stands with the Palestinians, so they wouldn't vote for her. And in states, on other parts of those states where there was a large Palestinian communities, or, you know, sympathizers, they would put ads up saying she stands with the Jews, with Israel. Now you're lying. It's obvious you're not being on an even field here. So we'll see. Being an ex-prosecutor, she knows the words of law. So with the Jamie Raskin, a constitutional scholar, he also knows that words matter. And the order the words are put in matters. And the words that are used matter. So don't give up hope. Just, you know, and I'll tell you what, LA, Los Angeles, and I think New York, they've already had their leaders are already standing up in these, especially in the blue states, and giving press conference and saying that they will not follow any laws that violate that violate things, and those deportation things all violate it, and they will not carry them out. They will not allow them, as much as they possibly can, to be carried out in their states. So people are already putting on those fucking gloves and saying, come the fuck on. Come on, try it in this state. I am worried because there are some people that I care about that are in red states. I'm a little concerned about that. But our people are definitely, they're already gearing up, and they have been. So don't get disheartened. Just keep listening to update things, and just know, and this I got from somebody else that actually did a lot of calming me, that she is who she is, and she has worked jobs that she has worked, Harris. And she is not stupid. She full well knows what to look for and how to approach you know, calling that out and investigating, or, you know, any of that sort of stuff. If anybody, she's the one. So we'll see what happens. But even if none of that pans out or is feasible to finish, let's say, as in reversing the decision, the results, we shall carry on. And if we need an underground, we need an underground. But I'm going to do what I can to keep the people around me as safe as I possibly can as a one person. And get involved if anything is needed. If I can get that information. My two cats and I were there with them. And hopefully that shit's not needed. Hopefully we can stall time like Donald always stalls time and keep the worst from happening even without guardrails in the admin. There's also some old Republican, and I don't mean old in age, but the Republicans that are not approving of MAGA. They're old party, the Republican Party that used to be. There's still a lot of people like that are horrified and disgusted with MAGA from the start, or, you know, in the last few years or whatever. So they might be Republican still in name, but they can't stand what's happening either. So I guess we are the resistance now, huh? That's okay. It's okay. We grew up watching Star Wars movies, so now we're the resistance, people. Who would have thought, right? Who the F would have thought? Being on terra firma in our own country, and we'd be the resistance. Wow. That was not on my life bingo card. That was not on my America the Beautiful bingo card. Whoa. The one thing I am concerned about is, how do you reverse if they already start selling our national park land and our, you know, those kind of conservation land to developers and stuff? How do you undo that if they've already ruined it? So hopefully his